Hey guys, I'm Grestar, and how about we react to RWBY Volume 3, Chapter 4, Lessons Learned. As with my other RWBY reactions, this video will only include me, so if you would like to watch the actual RWBY episode along with me, make sure to click here. It will take you to Rooster Teeth's YouTube channel under the RWBY playlist right to the video that I'm using. Not the Netflix one, not the DVD one, but the one that's available to everyone on their YouTube channel. For the best synchronization, I suggest you click here. I'll put a timestamp in this corner, so open it in another window, another tab, or download it and then synchronize it up and we'll be good. So last time, some stuff happened. Winter Schnee appeared. It was apparently Weiss's older sister, so my second guess was right. I was thinking Mama Schnee, but it was just older Schnee. Still baby Schnee to Mama Schnee, but an older baby Schnee. You know, like Weiss's baby Schnee, I think, and then there's just normal baby Schnee, and then Mama Schnee. Anyway, Papa Schnee. And so, you know, she appeared, but then Qrow appeared shortly afterward. Qrow, RWBY's uncle. And so they fought because Qrow is antagonistic like that, but in a much better way in my opinion than Winter was. Like, I just hated Winter's attitude, and so Qrow stepping in made it better. Like, if it were just Qrow and it didn't have that, like, counter of Winter, maybe I wouldn't have liked him as much, but because I immediately did not like Winter and how she just walked all over everybody, how she was just so rude and pompous about it all, having Qrow step in and just undermine her, it was very satisfying for me. So maybe I wouldn't have liked it as much if that weren't the case, but it was the case, so I did like him as much as I did. Whether that'll hold, who knows, but yeah. So apparently Qrow has been either undercover or something, but he's been doing reconnaissance for like Ozpin and, you know, General Ironwood and things like that. So he's aware that the enemy is there, everyone else is too, and so Qrow was kind of ticked off because they weren't communicating with him, but apparently they thought that his position had been compromised. Whatever exactly that means. Does that, like, I guess either captured or dead in his line of work. So glad he's not. But yes, the other thing that happened was that Cinder got access to like the main kind of terminal and everything, and I think she got access to it when General Ironwood placed his phone, I forget what they're called, so his phone basically on the table, and then it allowed the projection to come up. It seems like Cinder is connected to his device, and so anything that his device accesses, she can then access through her own device. I don't think at this point that that's on purpose from Ironwood. It could be, but because he asked Roman in Volume 2, Chapter 12, who was behind it, all of this, maybe he's not working with Cinder. You know, like, that's where I had my doubts. Now, this is some way he could still be working with Cinder, but still have that question actually be a viable question. If Cinder is not the queen, if Cinder is a pawn like the others, but just kind of an elevated pawn, you know what I mean? Just a more important pawn, it could be possible Ironwood is aware of what's going on with Cinder, Mercury, and Emerald, and is working with them to some extent, but doesn't know everything. Because we know that, like, Roman didn't know everything, and I think it's safe to assume that Mercury and Emerald don't know everything either, like, or Neo. So it's still possible that Ironwood is working with them. I'm not thinking he is. I'm just saying that the possibility still technically remains. But, like, I think when it happens, if it happens, I mean, I'm still going to be surprised by it, because at this point, it seems like there's a lot of stuff against it. There's just still just enough, in my opinion, where it's still a possibility. So I'm not going to completely dismiss it. But yeah, so Cinder has control over, like, who is going against whom in the Vital tournament. And so she put her team, you know, like Emerald and Mercury, I think are the ones fighting, against Coco from Team Coffee and whoever Coco's partner is, because I missed it. But Coco was the one who I thought was overpowered with her minigun and everything, and just how she completely nonchalantly destroyed the other Grimm. And so I have to expect that, you know, Mercury and Emerald are just gonna be even more powerful in order to whoop her, you know? But I don't know, I mean, like, maybe Coco was really only overpowered in comparison to Grimm, like when going up against Grimm, going up against actual hunters and huntresses, or even, you know, in training. That could be a completely different story. I'm also not sure at this point if Emerald and Mercury ever went to a training academy, or if we should consider them, like, you know, hunters, huntresses in training, or if they're on the level of actual, like, graduated hunters and huntresses. I don't know what their out-of-school training regimen would be like, so it's hard to say anything for sure, but they've proven to be pretty powerful and in the know. So, you know, I'm not gonna doubt them at this point. Like, I'm pretty sure we're about to see them fight. Like, I'm pretty sure that's where this episode's gonna start about. I'm not entirely sure where, or when, but that's essentially where the last episode left off, so I have to assume we're not going to be waiting for too long. And I'm sure we're going to get more plot too with all the stuff that's happening with like Qrow and Ozpin and Ironwood and Winter and whatnot. They're not just going to drop that off, of course, but who knows what they're going to get to first, how long they're going to dwell on it, etc, etc. But I think that's all I have to say in prep for watching this video, so with that, let's get to watching. Alright guys, here's how this is going to work. I'm going to say 3, 2, 1, play, and when I say play, you hit play. Let's do this. So, 3, 2, 1, play. Okay. And we have the intro again. Also, I assume in the, I didn't mention this last time, I don't think, but I assume in that picture now, it's RWBY's mom, their dad, Yang's mom, and then Qrow. I'm gonna watch for it this time. See, it's kind of weird how they don't show Neo in that picture at the end. Because they have 4, 4, 4, and then just the 3 of them. I guess that's the 3 that we usually see. We usually don't see Neo with them. But, like, for the tournament, that's their 4th. Clearly working with them. I don't know. I want to see the picture. When does it come up? I don't remember. Yeah. Yeah, that is them. But see, and then, like, they lose all their friends and they look all sad, and then it's the game over screen. That is the game over screen, guys. I'm just saying. Okay, episode time. Let's watch it. It's still, okay, there. Like, it's still black. Now, here we go. Time for the terrain. Oh, Yatsuhashi. How could I forget that name? I'm already gonna forget his name, by the way. That was completely sarcastic. Oh, 4 different kinds of terrain? Alright. Blood hardly exists in this universe. Alright. Hey, starting with the minigun. She listened to me, guys. Yeah, I feel like they're no longer in there. That was quite fortunate. That would have been a powerful blow. Oh yeah, don't shoot. Okay, good. He could do that just by breakdancing? Man, if I could do that by breakdancing, I would actually learn how to breakdance. I mean, probably. That sounds like a lot of work. Whoa, that was interesting. I don't even know exactly what happened during all that. Not a sound from her, she's just gone. Hmm. Oh no! Move your head! That wouldn't feel good. But that would feel worse. Huh. She stopped her momentum quite quickly. Wait, what? I don't know what happened. And I just have to accept that. Hey, like, last time, Oobleck, you talked about Nora's semblance, like, exactly what it was. Can you explain to me what happened here? Come on. Be a team player, man. He's not gonna be a team player. What a jerk. Oh. Oh, the mechs, I assume? Was that... positivity? Summoning. Snee. Oh. Okay. Oh, Harrow. Summoning. It's like an ice phantom grim. So this isn't classified? Hmm. Figures. Well, because he won? Hmm. That's a long time. I was like, he's not even playing yet. Well, I mean, they stopped the grim and... Good point, Ruby. Ah. Yeah, okay. Oh, that was actually all of them. So is he actually their uncle? Like, blood relative uncle, or... And I just asked that because he said, when I met your parents. Cool. Okay. You can do it, Weiss. Oh no! Hmm. Ah. Good. I will say this episode has made Winter better in my mind. I won't say that I like her still, but it's definitely made her better. I mean, a lot of it is just the relationship that she had with Weiss, and when we first see her, she's not nice at all to her. There was a tiny ice sword. The caterpillar was gonna be a warrior. Anyway, point is, she was nicer to her family after that, being Weiss, so made it better. Did you... Oh... Don't you remember what she said about the whole, avoiding his calls and stuff? You just did that again. Alright, whatever. Weiss, it's your life. You do it. You do you. Is this I feel like that's concept art stuff. Cool. And there's what they summoned, the Frost Grim stuff. And then the Rooster Teeth animation showcase. And done. Right? Okay, yeah. Alright, so this episode was 14 minutes and 21 seconds long, and now it's time to talk about it. So just to reiterate what I was last saying, this episode did make me appreciate Winter more. I'm not going to say that I like her at this point, but just the fact that she does seem to care now, or I assume she always did, but she didn't show it when she first arrived, you know? The fact that she seems to care about Weiss, you know, her little sister, that does mean a lot to me. And so, just seeing how she was helping her, and, you know, through word and deed, it did make her a lot better in my eyes. So, you know, props to her. I'm glad that we didn't have to hate Winter for long, and now I can just be in this middle point. And I did like what she said about the whole, like, emotions can help or whatever. It really reminded me of, like, X-Men. Is it First Class or Days of Future Past? I don't think it's Days of... I don't know. But it's one of the more recent ones, you know? And it was, like, when Xavier was talking to Magneto, I think, and about, like, finding the pinnacle of your power, kind of, like, the top of it, the peak. There's another word I'm looking for, but I can't think of it right now. Anyway, it was like you have to find that point or that balance between rage and serenity, and I just always liked that. It was really cool, and so that's what it made me think of that, and, you know, just kind of that callback of my own, which I appreciated. It's fun to see more of Qrow and his relationship with Yang and RWBY, particularly with RWBY, and him showing that picture and, you know, briefly reminiscing about it. I didn't realize they were all on a team, but it makes sense that they're all going to be photographed together. That I just realized that's a little bit weird, isn't it? Alright, so first let me finish my thought on that. I liked Yang's, like, seeing her expression with that picture too. And is that because she saw her mother and that's that? Or is it because she saw her mother and thought back to that weird dream sequence thing that happened at the end of Volume 2, Chapter 12? You know, when she, like, saw, like, she took her mask off and everything. Was that even a dream sequence? It seemed like it, because how else would that happen? Or did she just happen to wander off and run into her out there? I don't know. I'm not inclined to think that one, though. But, anyway, back to the team then. How it's kind of awkward is like, okay, so they were all on a team. RWBY's mother, their dad, Yang's mother, and then Qrow. So, the awkward part is like, they all knew each other pretty well. These two got married, and then RWBY's mother died, and so then he married his other teammate? Maybe that's not awkward. Maybe I'm just thinking... I don't know, it struck me as awkward. Maybe it's not so much. I mean, if you're really good friends, you can reach those points of understanding, especially after one passed away and you're there to support each other, then other things can grow from it. But it initially struck me as a little bit awkward. And Qrow said that that's where he met, you know, RWBY's and Yang's parents, and that was initially me thinking like, oh, so is he not actually their uncle? Has he just become close enough to the family that he's been, like, dubbed their uncle? But it could easily mean, you know, he was, again, like, the brother of one of them, and therefore, since all three of them are technically RWBY's and Yang's parents in some way or other, he met the other two, you know? Or, alternatively, it could be he's an uncle only by dubbing, not by actual, like, blood relation, so... I think that he actually is their uncle at this point. It seems like, you know, that's where I met your parents. Again, that means that there are potentially, like, 3 people who he could be referring to, like, that would, you know, be accurate. So I'm inclined to think that one at this point. But yeah, I do like learning more about him. And I figured that's how his little inn story was going to end, but with seeing a pretty girl. Because, you know, if you're going to talk about an inn and talk about, like, kind of the seedy underworld sort of thing, you kind of have to mention the attractive women, don't you? Doesn't that always come up? I feel like it does. Oh, and then going back to the fight between, you know, the Team Coffee people, and I remember Coco, I don't remember the other name. I knew that I would forget it, but it's too long for me to get, man. And then, you know, Mercury and Emerald. I'm definitely not surprised by the fact that Mercury and Emerald won. I mean, like, they chose that fight specifically, and yeah, it just showed how freaking powerful they are and everything, how well they work as a team, how long they've been working together as a team. Even though I think Team Coffee is second years, I think they're second year students, it still just goes to show, yeah, how good Mercury and Emerald are together. But I don't get what happened at the end with how one of them apparently looked like Coco's teammate, because it seemed like, you know, Mercury's semblance was that of, like, you know, he was breakdancing and, like, that came up, you know? But then, so was that Emerald's semblance? And even if it is, I don't know exactly what it is. And again, I really wish Oobleck would go out and say it, because he was fine with saying Nora's. And, like, I could have gotten Nora's on my own. Not exactly while it was happening, but I'm pretty sure if that happened, she was unfazed. It would be like, oh, I wonder why that didn't affect her. And then if she ran on top of the mountain and, like, purposely got struck by lightning, I think I would have been like, oh, maybe it has something to do with that. I guess Oobleck just did it kind of for comedy in that moment, because it was like the dude who was fighting Nora was zapping her the entire time he's saying that it's charging her up. But it's just like, now that that precedent was set, when there's something that I don't understand about someone's semblance, like, I want him to tell me. Granted, I don't think that everyone, like, that they know about everyone's semblance, so maybe that's all it was he didn't know himself. But, you know, it makes me want to know even more. So that's all there's something to mind about this episode right now. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode in the comments below, whether you liked it, whether you disliked it, what you thought about this or that. You can talk about this episode and anything before it, but please do not talk about anything after this episode. I would like to remain as spoiler-free as possible, and, you know, for those who are enjoying this for the first time along with me, please don't spoil it for them either. Like, that's no fun for anyone. You're not any cooler, you're not any more knowledge, like, you're not any more anything positive because of it. If you spoil things, you are only more negative, in my opinion. So if you value my opinion at all, you know, take that to heart. But with that, we're calling it here. Cue outro, go!